This video is sponsored by Simply Safe. I'll tell you more about them later on in the video.
Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my backyard. This time we're cutting up this log here, which is honey locust. My buddy Dan brought this to me. If you don't remember Dan brought me the giant maple log with the integrated bird feeder. That ridiculous thing. If you haven't seen that video, I will leave you a link to that. That was a fun log to saw. So he picked up this log. I think he got it off of like Marketplace or something. It was in someone's yard. He picked it up, and because I haven't cut honey locust before, it's on my list of things that I would like to saw, which I haven't yet. I offered to cut it for him. So I have a pair of these growing in my front yard, but I ain't gonna go cut them down just so I can see what they look like on the inside. So this would be a fantastic opportunity to see what this stuff actually looks like. One of the amazing things about having a sawmill, if you're buying or building one, is it opens up your possibilities of species you can use and saw. So honey locust is probably not something you're going to find at like most lumber yards, because it's not super common to have it sawn for lumber. From what I've seen online, that's the only place I've seen them. There's just pictures on the internet. This stuff looks like it is absolutely beautiful, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the stuff looks like in person and doing it justice to help show how awesome it probably is. So as always, let's take a quick look around the log, see what we got going on, and get set up to make some cuts. So right off the bat, or I guess right off the butt, we got some shakes. So we have these shakes right here, so that's where the tree splits along the growth ring. You can see that shake right there. I also have this one here, but it looks like it's part of a bigger, sort of decay or just health issue with the tree. So if you come out to this side, you can see that it's got some, it's got some missing bits and pieces there. So that's more probably a higher or longer standing structural issue versus that smaller shake there. Both are going to have the same result in the boards, but this one here is going to produce some more structural irregularities in it. I also have an interesting kind of bark inclusion here on the end grain. A lot of people kind of ask how old these trees are, if I count the rings. There you go. Go ahead and pause it and count them. I think this is probably like a 70-year-old tree. I like to guesstimate versus sit there and count a bunch of rings. Up here, you can see we have another furrow here, so this is probably leading towards what's going on down here at the end. I also have a few little areas like this. That's a small burl. You can see all the little shoots that were coming off of there. So like a little burl action on this end. Down here we have another shake. You can see it right here. There's another ring shake on this end. And other than that though, things look pretty solid and normal. We're getting a little bit of offset with the pith because this was what looks like to be maybe like another limb or something that was starting to grow out this way. I also have maybe some insect issue there or some kind of hole thing. We'll see what's going on with that later. Coming around to this side, nothing super notable other than it looks like there might have been some decay or dieback on this side because the bark is already so loose, but that could be just from it sitting for a little while. Maybe some spalting here, at least surface level spalting. Other than that though, pretty normal sized log. Total length on this is a little over 8 feet. You can tell because the bunks are 2 feet apart. And then the diameters down here, we're at about 26. And then the small end, we're at 22. So we got a little bit of taper in this log, which you would expect. So I am making slabs out of this. We're making 9/4 slabs. And I guess the general workflow for this, because it is uniform and cylindrical, it makes it rolling, or makes rolling it really easy. So we'll end up coming in here and making a facing cut, roll the whole thing over, and then just slice all the way down to the bed. So I will get this thing positioned. It's probably going to be sawn in the orientation it is right now. I'll just get slid up against the stops and raise up the narrow end a little bit to get it leveled out a little better. And then make a quick cut. I'll take a quick look and see what that first one actually looks like. So just an initial note, which is not going to obviously come through on camera, is this stuff has a really interesting smell. It has almost like a wild berry kind of fragrance to it as I'm cutting it. I was not expecting that. Very earthy. It's not like a bad smell, it's not ready for it. That's cool. Obviously we're still just up in the sapwood right now, but you can see some of the heartwood color here is kind of yellowy orange type of color. We're not gonna see a whole lot in this piece, so I think this thing is really stable right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and make a cut or two and get at least 1 or 2 slabs out of here first before going and rolling it over. So this thing is still sitting on here pretty stable. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make at least 1 more cut while I'm at it.
While making these first batch of cuts, let me tell you about this video sponsor, SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is an easy-to-use, customizable home security system that is free from contracts and hidden costs. Having just upgraded its system, SimpliSafe devices are now half the size as before and reach nearly double the range with 5 times faster speeds. You can either order the system online or over the phone, and it's delivered right to your home and you set it up yourself in under an hour. From there, your home is professionally monitored 24/7. If anything happens, they'll make sure the police or other emergency services get called. They've got sensors to cover every window, room, and door, plus lots of great extras like water sensors, temperature sensors, and HD cameras. It's all really easy to use, and you get around-the-clock protection for just 50 cents a day with no contracts. As many of you know, we recently moved and have been needing a new system. After having a system at our old house for nearly 10 years, we've really come to appreciate the peace of mind. I was really excited when the box from SimpliSafe arrived. This house didn't have a doorbell, which has caused us to miss a lot of deliveries. Setup with the system was extremely easy. The instructions were really well written, and pairing the sensors and devices to the base station was very streamlined. I installed the smart lock, which is something we've never had. Lindsay is really good at locking doors, and I'm really good at forgetting my keys, so this will be quite convenient the next time I find myself locked out. Visit simplisafe.com/mattcremona to check out SimpliSafe's award-winning home security that keeps your home safe around the clock. It's really reliable, easy to use, and there are no contracts. Thanks again to SimpliSafe for sponsoring this video. Now let's check out some wood.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's some cool color. This is some pretty interesting stuff. Like, that's a really interesting grain pattern. It has like almost an elm type of grain look to it, and then it has a much reddish yellow kind of hue to it. So this is pretty cool stuff. Hopefully I can find some more of this. Got a whole bunch of it. Got some little tiny baby burls in here too, so that's cool. All right, let's go a little bit deeper. This goes pretty heavy too. Yeah, good density to it. This stuff's looking nicer and nicer. A lot more interesting colors as we got through here. Got a old limb chilling right there. And I think what this nubbin thing up here used to be, this was a burl, I think. I think when it got cut down for, log length, whoever cut it right through this big burl. So there is some fun kind of figure stuff going on there, which is pretty sweet. This is the shake right there. So we got the structural defect right through there. But yeah, just some nice looking stuff. Down here we got those little tiny burls again. All right, let's see what's going on underneath this guy. So this one is starting to get close to the core, so we're gonna see some more straight grain as things here are quarter and more riffs on grain orientation. That's looking nice too. This is some cool stuff. I think, yeah, this needs to be made into some stuff because I'm really liking this this straight grain area here. Like, that's just gorgeous. The grain, the color, that would make some beautiful styles and rails for some awesome cabinet doors. Whew, man, that's pretty. All right, I'm gonna get these 3 out of here and set aside. I'm gonna roll this bad boy over and I'll turn the rest of it into a stack of slabs. Should be what, 8, 9 slabs out of this log, something like that. So this top one's not really going to be a whole lot. So we're just going to throw this one aside and take a look at the more exciting next cut. Stuff is dense. This is pretty cool. We have the weird thing, thing going on down here. It's kind of an inclusion, actually. So this is like another stem that was growing up through there. So it was kind of growing around another piece of itself, I guess. But that leads to some really interesting grain and stuff around there. Some little burl eyes there. The rest of it is clear. Just some really nice, clear, straight grain looking stuff. Love the color on this though. That's nice. Ooh, this one's got some fun looking defects in it. Who's ready? Oh yeah, we got some insect damage down here. Some good defects. So by good defects, I mean like character or interest defects, I guess. So this is basically a bark inclusion, so it's a kind of a hole now. We also have this guy, which is probably that's the ring shake, isn't it? So there is that ring shake, translates to the surface as an actual crack following the growth rings. So you can see it follow the grain as it comes up through there. Pretty cool. Similar thing down here. I'm guessing this shake goes all the way through the tree, and we've just kind of exited and entered the cut again. So this shake is the same one here, all the way up the tree. And on this side, we got some, looks like ant damage. So some ant caverns and things, and this much bigger furrow through there. So some very interesting structural defects in this tree for sure. Great yellow and, I don't know, blackish staining through here. I don't know, just really cool color on this. I think I said that before. The color is great. Ugh. You can already see that ring shake all the way up. Whereas traditionally, a tree with a ring shake like this would not get sawn. It would be thrown away. Oh, that's cool. There's some cool like spalting and stuff going on next to that bark inclusion. So here is that kind of interesting color and green. There's some spalt lines right through here. And then we got the shake on this side. So this is going to be totally disconnected from this side. Looks like it kind of joins back up through here though. But yeah, you got a nice ring shake through here. So going to be more quarter saw. We got some nice straight grain stuff. And then this side's got a little bit of insect damage again. Get out of here, silver maple. That's not what this is. There you go, ring shake. Complete disconnection along growth ring. This one also looks pretty good. We're starting to get away from the defects now. This one still has a little bit of defects, but not as much as the others. Gorgeous. Almost all the way through all of the insect damage. We got one little hole there still. Oh, this is a good one. This is a real good one. We're not too far off the pith. You can see it's kind of in here a little bit. You can see some of the cracking from the pith, which was just above this spot. So we're really close to that, which means that from this point over and this point over, that's all quarter sawn. See, honey locust doesn't really have super pronounced ray fleck. They're in there. They're tiny. They're little tiny dots. Little tiny dots in there. Those are the ray fleck. You know, white oak would have the big giant ray fleck. All trees have rays. They're just different sizes. So yeah, this one's very straight grained and a little bit of pith action there in the middle. Very nice. Okay, one more to go. This one looks like it's connected, so it shouldn't fall apart. Oh, as easily, I guess. Stuff is pretty heavy though. I'm like surprised by the density on this stuff. Oh, this is a nice one. This is a nice one. Where's my water? Boop. Boop. Oh yeah. That's where it's at right there. Have I mentioned how much I like the color on this stuff? Look at that stuff. Look at this. Ah. Just a few little knots here and there. Oh yeah. Just some really beautiful color. This one's got some knots in it, so I'm liking that. Produces some kind of more interesting grain in the middle there. We still have some really nice straight grain stuff there towards the outside. This is a beautiful log. Beautiful, beautiful log. So kind of a quick one today, no crazy struggle or anything like that. It's a little bit different than the giant logs. The giant logs take a lot more effort to get on. Smaller stuff like this isn't too bad, especially with nothing like giant and metal inside of them. So this stuff is absolutely gorgeous. One question that I get fairly often is like, I have X tree, can I saw it into lumber? And the answer is yes. You can literally saw any tree you want into lumber. And the cool thing about being able to cut it yourself or have access to a saw is the fact that you can cut all these weird things up into lumber and use them in your project. So this one is like borderline uncommon. You see this somewhat often, but it's not like a really common thing to see honey locust as like available species of wood. Kind of like mulberry, that's kind of there in your gray area between everybody's got it and no one's got it at all because no one has bothered to cut it ever. So, being able to cut some weird stuff and use it for your own stuff is always, or sell it to someone else that wants to use it for their own projects, is very cool. So this stuff is absolutely beautiful. I think this is like quite a lot denser and harder than I was expecting, which is kind of cool. It's nothing like black locust, but still, this has a lot of the same grain characteristics. I think, based on the pictures I've seen of black locust, because I haven't cut that either, I like the color on this a lot better. So this is definitely a more interesting wood to make furniture out of, which excites me. So thanks again, Dan, for bringing by this log. I'm going to let him know to come get it out of my way. It's been sitting here for 6 months, and now it's sawn, and he's got to get it out of here. Oh, man. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you, as always, for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the sawmill, on honey locust or anything back in the shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, to be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.